guys, Logan here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Sicario, Day of the Soldado, the sequel to the first Sicario film, and this one is not directed by the same guy, Denis Villeneuve, who directed the first Sicario film, but it is written by the same person, Taylor Sheridan, I think that's how you say his last name, from the first Sicario film. He also directed Wind River last year, which I thought was a very good movie, and I loved that film. So in this film, the war on drug cartels starts to escalate in the U.S. Mexico border when they're trafficking terrorists to the United States. And Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro have to team up to go to the U.S. Mexico border, find the drug cartels that are bringing terrorists to the country, and bring them down once and for all before some terrible things go wrong. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Sicario film. I mean, yeah, the cinematography done by Roger Deakins and Denis Villeneuve's directing, combined with Josh Brolin's and Benicio del Toro's performances, as well as Emily Blunt's performances in the first one, very good. But other than that, the movie was pretty boring, and it was more like a slow-paced film, and sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of slow-paced films. So I came into Sicario Day of the Soldado not really know what to expect, and I gotta say, after viewing this movie, I was pleasantly surprised. This is a lot better than the first Sicario film, in my humble opinion. Go ahead, take the blame, or let the hate rain down on me all you want. I don't care. This is better than the first Sicario film, in my humble opinion. And Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, both of which fan-freaking-tastic in this movie. They took their performances and their acting and what have you from the first Sicario film and bring them to a whole nother level in this film, particularly Josh Brolin. He's a lot more intense, intimidating, and brutal and menacing in this film than he was in the first one. The opening sequence, or the opening scene alone, really demonstrate what this movie is going to be. But let's not talk about this movie without talking about Benicio del Toro. This is his movie, man. This is his film, man. Even if he's not directing it, or writing it, or producing, or what have you, this still feels like the movie revolving around Benicio del Toro and the character he plays. He was an absolute standout in this entire film, both of which, but Benicio del Toro really stood out in this entire film from start to finish. He was amazing. The action sequences in this film don't really feel like action sequences at all. They felt more like scenes that made you feel like you are there witnessing it as if they already happened in real life. Like they made you feel like you're there watching it. And that's a clever thing to say positively about a movie like this. And this movie is a lot more dark, gritty, brutal, and violent, with not just the action sequences, which again don't feel like action sequences at all, but with the story, which I feel like is a lot more complex than the story in the first Sicario film. In the first Sicario, it's a very simple story where we get to see Emily Blunt discovering the drug war with against the drug cartels that were trafficking terrorists into the United States. This film felt much more complex than that, and this movie has a very compelling message about how much of a devastating impact things like war, terrorism, and drugs can have, especially on children. Now we're getting to the side plot with the young girl. She gets captured, and then later on in the film gets taken care of by Benicio del Toro. And we also have another side plot with a young boy who, I will not reveal what just happened with him, but the whole side plot with him was revealed what what purpose it has for being in this film later on, especially in the third act of the movie. And that I thought was very good. This film has a very compelling message, and I applaud it for that. It really demonstrates how horrible a war and terrorism and drugs can be, and other horrible things that can happen to children, and how they could end up being, or whether they're being killed or being captured, or were being, like, you know, turned into another group of, like, terrorists. Now, as for flaws, the pacing sometimes gets a little bit messy and draggy at the same time. Certain points really bored me that I feel like had no purpose for being in this film. Just scenes that have nothing to do with what this movie was all about, and what story it was trying to tell. Just certain scenes that I will not spoil. But other than that, this movie was pleasantly surprising to me. I never expected to actually love a Sicario film, but I did. And as a matter of fact, I posted yesterday, I believe, or it was last night. I think it was last night. I posted my Stardust reaction to the film, and in that reaction, I wasn't very pleased with how this movie ended and what type of a movie it was. For some reason, I wasn't the biggest fan of this film for some odd reason. I guess it had something to do with certain plot twists that at first I didn't really think was good, but as I thought more and more about it, I realized, wait a minute, this movie is actually very, very good. So yeah, for some odd reason, I wasn't fazed by this film in my Stardust reaction to the film like I was with the first Sicario film. Just for some dumb reason, I wasn't. But as I thought more about it, that's what I find most clever and most interesting about this movie. It makes me think more and more about it after watching this film, and after, you know, thinking about it a lot more often, probably hours later, I came to the conclusion that this movie was actually very, very good film. This is a very good film, and I do recommend you see it in theaters. I'm going to give Sicario, Day of the Soldado, a gold Medal of Honor. So anyway, guys, that is my review for Sicario, Day of the Soldado. I have more reviews coming to you later this week, so stay tuned here on my channel. Just stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed my review, please click the like button and comment down below to let me know if you have saw this movie and let me know what you think of it. If you enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.